There's a version of you that already made it. You can see it clearly. The finished project, the fit body, the full room. It feels almost real, and it feels good. So good, you could sit in it for an hour. Meanwhile, down here, the page is still blank. The pen hasn't moved. The daydream ends, the room comes back, and nothing in it has changed. You're not slacking off. You want this more than almost anything. That's the strange part. The ambition is real. The energy to act just isn't. Big dreamers who can't seem to start. Maybe you know the feeling from inside. Tomorrow, you tell yourself. Tomorrow you'll finally begin for real. But tomorrow arrives looking exactly like today. The page stays white. And here's where most people reach for the easy word. Lazy, undisciplined. It's the label everyone hands you, maybe the one you hand yourself. But that word explains nothing. It just ends the conversation early. So let's not end it. Let's find out what's really happening in that gap. Start with what laziness actually is. Because psychologists don't really use the word, they look instead at the task in front of you and how it makes you feel. A task that feels boring, hard, or uncertain gives off a small dread. And the fastest way to kill that dread is simple. Do literally anything else. Scroll, snack, tidy. Instantly, the bad feeling lifts. Relief. That relief is the whole point. Procrastination isn't a time problem. Researchers Soroy and Pickle put it plainly. It's mood repair. You avoid the task to feel better right now. And it works right now. The bill just goes to someone else, a person you haven't met yet, your future self, who inherits the undone task, plus the guilt, plus less time. So the lazy choice isn't a flaw in your character. It's a trade. A bad trade, but a rational one. You buy comfort now and pay heavy interest later. And because the relief is instant, the brain learns it. Fast. Then repeats it. Every time you dodge, you deepen the groove. The escape gets more automatic. None of this needs a broken personality to explain. It only needs a nervous system, which is oddly good news. A habit built by relief can be rebuilt. But this raises a sharper question. If it's just mood repair, then why do the most ambitious people, the biggest dreamers, stall the hardest? You'd expect ambition to be the cure for stalling. Often, it's the accelerant. Because ambitious people don't just want things, they picture them vividly. They can drop into the finished fantasy in seconds. It's a genuine talent. The richer your imagination, the more real the daydream feels, and the more it costs. Decades ago, researchers noticed something backwards about positive daydreams. First, a crucial split. Expecting to succeed is not the same as fantasizing success. Expecting, believing you probably can, tends to help. It's grounded in your past. Fantasizing, savoring the win as if it's already here, quietly does the opposite. Oudingen and Meyer found it directly. The sweeter the fantasy, the poorer the follow-through. Students who fantasized about the job did worse at getting it than those who didn't. The dreamers dreamed. And in the dreaming, something got spent before they started. This is the heart of the ambitious person's trap. Watch it closely. A vivid dream of success feels almost like the success itself. Same warm glow. Your mind, in a sense, collects a little of the reward in advance, on credit. But a reward you already tasted is a reward you'll chase less hard. Why grind toward a summit when the view already feels this good from the couch? So the ambition doesn't fail despite the vivid imagination, it's undone by it. The same gift that lets you picture the dream is what drains the drive to build it. And this isn't only a mind game. Look at what the fantasy does to the body. In one study, researchers didn't just ask people how they felt, they measured the body. They tracked physical energy, the readiness of the body to actually do something. Then they had people fantasize, richly, positively, about a wish coming true. And the body's energy dropped, measurably. The fantasy didn't fire people up, It calmed them down, as if the goal were already handled, so the body stood down. Kappas and Oettingen named it, "Positive fantasies about the future sap energy. Picture the win vividly enough, and your body relaxes as if you'd won." But relaxed is exactly the wrong state for hard, uncertain, effortful work. So you get the cruel combination. The dream is bright, the tank is empty. This is the fuel you spend in advance, burned on the fantasy of the trip, and it locks the loop shut. Dreaming feels productive, so you do more of it. More dreaming, less energy, less action, more guilt, which sends you back to the dream. Because the daydream is also the nicest place to hide from the guilt of not starting. So the more capable and ambitious you are, the more tempting the hiding place. If this is landing a little too personally, that's the point. It's the common wiring. Some of the most ambitious people you know run quietly on empty behind the dream. So here's where people reach for the fix, and the fix is where it gets worse. Get motivated, picture it harder, tell everyone your goal. You've heard all three. Take them one at a time, because each one can quietly make the stall deeper. First, get motivated. Wait for the surge of feeling that finally makes you act. But motivation is a mood, and moods pass. You can't schedule a feeling. Waiting to feel like it means waiting forever for the hardest tasks. They rarely feel good first. Action usually comes before motivation, not after. Waiting inverts the order. Second, and worse, just picture the success harder. Really feel it. Vision board it. But we just watched what that does. The brighter the fantasy, the flatter the fuel. So the standard advice, dream bigger, pours fuel onto the exact fire that's stalling you. Read that again. The cure everyone prescribes is a stronger dose of the poison. Third, tell everyone. Announce the goal publicly so you're accountable. Sounds airtight, and it feels wonderful. People nod, they're impressed, they already see the new you. And right there, the crowd hands you something you were supposed to earn, a taste of the identity. You feel like the writer, the founder, before writing a word. Gollwitzer's team tested exactly this, with people committed to who they wanted to become. The ones who announced their goal then worked less at it than the ones who kept it private. Being seen as the person was reward enough. The striving quietly switched off. Notice the pattern. Fantasy, hype, applause, each hands you the feeling of arriving early. And a mind that already feels arrived has no reason to make the trip. So if dreaming harder is the trap, what actually turns the dream into motion? The answer isn't to kill the dream. The dream is where the direction lives. It's to tether the dream to the ground, to make it point at something you can do. Researchers built a simple method for this. Picture the wish, then picture what's in the way. Not the fantasy alone, the fantasy held right up against the real obstacle. That contrast does something the pure daydream never can. It creates tension, and useful tension is energy. The gap between here and there is what pulls you forward. Then you plan for the obstacle in advance. If this gets in the way, then I'll do that. Now the obstacle isn't a wall that ends the dream. It's a step with a plan attached. But even that can stay theoretical. So here's the smallest, rudest fix of all. Shrink the goal until the very next action is almost too small to refuse. Not write the book, open the document. Not get fit, put the shoes on. Because the dread lives in the size of the task. Shrink the task, starve the dread. And a started task pulls differently than a dreamed one. Motion makes its own fuel. The dream stops being a place you hide. It becomes the compass you move behind. So if you're ambitious but stuck, hear the real diagnosis. You were never lazy. You were spending the fuel in the fantasy. Keep the dream, just don't finish it in your head. Take the one step that's too small to fear. Then, if this helped, you know where to find me.